and then it's recording. And you know it's recording because down there in the left-hand corner, there's a little red flashing on the CP. Or it will be down here if you're on yours. And so until you go back and click on this, if I click this icon, it will actually stop the recording. Or if you click that icon, it will stop the recording. But I won't do that right now. So so in terms of the YouTube channel, a quick, very brief definition of those who aren't familiar with how it's kind of used in our department. It is an internally focused channel, so the target audience is education within the Bronson system. And really the main reason, so I was looking at some of the purpose statement that we created for this 3 years ago now, and the purpose statement that we had for it was to have a central location to share all education-related videos to our internal audience with the least amount of barriers or complications. Because at the time it was complicated to share video, and there is absolutely nothing more simple or universal than YouTube. It works on any device, almost any browser. Bronson's tested that theory a few different times. But now it works on almost any browser and any location. And so, and then the internal piece changes sometimes, because if there's a video that you want to share with a contractor or somebody external that you have no other way of sharing it with, you can use it for that. I mean, if it's an external group, so physicians is a popular group, of maybe a group of unemployed physicians who want to see an educational video that we did or want to see a reference video that we created, you can share it with them without having to go through IT to set up their access. They can just click on it. Depending on the security permissions of the video itself. And so the biggest piece is getting to this. And so the channel itself is not unlisted, so you could go to Google and type in Bronson Center for Learning YouTube, and it would show up. You can also go to the Bronson Center for Learning homepage or SharePoint site, and it is on there as well. And so it's under the video request form and tracking. I think most people end up just looking for it, or you just bookmark it yourself on Internet Explorer, because it's a pretty easy site to find. And then the login information for the site, I'll tell the group what it is now, but that is going to always be in the Innovative Ed blog. If you ever can't find the login information for the channel, it's in the Innovative Ed blog. And if you just go to YouTube, pull it up real quick. So if you are at the Innovative Ed blog and just go down to the YouTube category on the left, I think you'll see it down there under that one. So the YouTube site and login. And that's what it is. And if that ever changes, it'll be something that's shared broadly with the team. Our very, very long email address. And then the password is capital B CFL 2014. And as an obvious point, but I mean, so that's definitely an only internal team login. So we don't share that with anybody outside the Center for Learning, because we wouldn't want other people using the channel or logging in. Because there is a certain level of secure access that gives people to our videos. So if I really wanted to, they could log in and delete every single video we have. It's that trust piece. We have to assume some people aren't going to do that. I also have it set up that if anybody ever logs into our YouTube channel from a location that's not in this region, so if you ever go on a business conference to Australia and you try logging in and get blocked, that's okay. That's intended. So let somebody know if you're going to do that, and then I can turn that off while you're gone. Just so if they ever got compromised, we wouldn't have to worry about any of this stuff being gone. And then it's key that you're logged in. So up here in the upper right hand corner, I'm already logged in, so you can see this icon. If you've never used Google before, almost all Google applications on the upper right hand corner will have an icon or sign in option. So there's an icon here because I'm already logged in. But if there wasn't, and you went to YouTube, you'd probably just get a generic YouTube page. And so then it would be a blue box that says sign in. And then you would just click into that and it would let you log in. And so that's always the first step when you're coming out here, because what you see being signed in is completely different than what you see not being signed in, or even your own YouTube account. Because our channel has so many securities behind the videos that most of the videos actually will never show up unless you're logged into the actual channel itself, because the majority of them are actually unlisted. So once you're logged in, my channel is always a good place to start over on the left-hand side. If that doesn't show up in your browser, sometimes YouTube will hide it by default. And so if for some reason it's ever hiding, these three lines will show up, and then the My Channel options where you want to go. So the first piece, like when you're getting here, assuming majority of people come here to upload video, so we kind of want to walk through that uploading process and kind of show what it looks like. And this is assuming your video is basically ready to be shared and sent to people to look at. You can do some minor editing in YouTube, and I'll show some of that, but it's not necessarily, it's not hard, but it's just not super user-friendly. It takes time because it depends on your internet speed connection, and it doesn't have all the options that a lot of the other editing tools have. But if you're just trying to chop up a video or merge two videos together, you can do it all on YouTube. So the upload arrow in the upper right-hand corner is going to be where you want to go to upload a video, and then it'll bring the upload window. And so all videos on our channel, the default setting is unlisted, which means the video can never be searched via Google. You can go out and search for it by name; it'll never show up. And if you went to the channel and weren't logged in, you wouldn't see it. The only way you ever can get to unlisted videos is if somebody sends you the link directly. So it's completely link controlled, and that's what all of ours are by default. They're also public, which means most YouTube channels I used to have, they're public, so anybody can search for them, anybody can find them. And then private is only people that you actually put in the system with their email address. So that a lot of times they will require them to log in to actually see it. Again, unlisted is 9 times out of 10 what we want to use.
So what happens if they lose their little link to it?
So that link's the only way to get to it, right. So that's why the idea of making sure that link's out someplace in a public location or someplace easy to find, that's, yeah. And the same goes the other way. That link can be sent to anybody in the world. So it's secure as secure that link is, that's as secure as your video is. I mean, if I posted a link out on Facebook for the world to see, everybody who sees that link can click on it. So it's important to think about how you share and how you post it, especially on the internet. If it's something that a lot of people shouldn't see, if it's a public internet page, then there's really no security because anybody can click on the link.
Because I'm just thinking, a long time ago, I did 2 years or 3 years ago, I did a Powtoons and uploaded it and did it, and then maybe later on I might want to come back. Now I don't know if I know where that link is anymore.
Exactly, and so I mean, and we'll get to the video. We'll get to the video manager, and you can actually see it in the video manager itself. Okay. And I'll show you how to search that. Yeah, we have a lot of videos in there. So for the video, I'm just going to have a short tutorial that I did. I think this one might be out there already, but just kind of show what it looks like. So double click the video, and then it shows up processing and uploading right there. There's 2 steps. It will upload first, which is the actual process of YouTube taking the video and putting it on their servers. And then processing happens after that, which means it's them converting it or modifying it for their player. Technically, after uploading, you're done. You don't really need to do anything else. It's always safe, though, to keep the window open, even if you go do other work on another tab, is to keep the window open while you're uploading just to make sure it's there and actually waiting for the processing done, confirmation, we're good to go. And so that just keeps it safe. Another piece is the size of the video. So this one was super short, so it was super quick. If it's a massive size video, for whatever reason, those can take a long time. And sometimes it may look like it freezes up. It didn't. It just it's just taking a long time. And you can always double check. So what will happen is you'll be given a link that's the future tense it will be live at, and you can always copy that link and open up a new tab and paste it in to see the status of the video. And you'll know right away whether it's out there or not. And if it's still processing, it will tell you it's still processing. But again, so making sure if it's a giant video, you don't start uploading it 20 minutes before you plan on leaving for the day, unless you're going to leave your computer on and doing it while you're gone. So kind of planning around that. Most of the shorter videos, they'll be done anywhere between 2, maybe 10 minutes. This one was incredibly short, so it was done in less than 30 seconds. So once you get that in there, you'll see that the process is done, upload status is complete. This is when you would want to add your title and description. So these are the items that are on the upload, the request form for a reason, because it's important that it has a clear title and a clear description on there, because this is really how people are going to see the video and get the information from it. We'll put a lot of this information in how we send the link, so if it's an email, we might give them all this information, but eventually that email may be lost or that link might live alone, and so you want to have enough that if I find this link and go to this video, I get what's here. And so if I just add a quick note about what this is, And then I make sure everything else, so there's no tags that I want to add. Generally, tags are going to be for searching, so since this is unlisted, there's no relevance to adding a tag to it. You can change your video thumbnails, so if there was a thumbnail that you wanted or a custom thumbnail that you wanted, you can change that. So if it's an awkward picture of somebody's face and you don't want that to be what everybody sees when they browse the videos, you can change it to something else. For here, it doesn't necessarily matter. And then the unlisted, again, is going to be by default, and then a playlist. And so I'll talk a little bit more about playlists, but basically these are exactly what I think everybody's familiar with, the idea of grouping a bunch of videos together. And if anything you don't do here, you can do later on. Nothing is set in stone. There's no such thing as a permanent, and nothing's permanent on YouTube at all. So anything that we do here can be changed. So this one's done, so I'm going to hit done. And then it gives you the URL you can go to, or you can click right on the link that it gave you here to go back and look at the video that you uploaded. You'll notice that open it up in a new tab. As long as you're logged into the YouTube channel and it opens up in a new tab, it doesn't matter, you're still logged into the channel. And so you'll see briefly it's unlisted, there's a notes I put in there, and then it'll let you kind of watch your video. And all that editing stuff we just did, you can actually do again here. So if you want to go to info and settings, that's where you change a lot of the information. And then some of these other things we'll talk about. Like a lot of Microsoft stuff, there's 1,000 ways to do one thing. So you can go from here, you can go from a different view. What I'm going to do is go back to the other view where we were before, because that's usually the most familiar for folks. So this video is uploaded, right? So it's there. We can add it to a playlist again from the settings, and I'll go back and show exactly what that looks like. Let's see. So let's go back. I'll exit out of this one. And then we're going to go back to the My channel that we're at before. As soon as my computer makes up its mind. And so again, get back to my channel. So if we ever wanted to kind of see our video and then all the videos listed on the channel, it's under the video manager. So this is where I spend the most of my time on YouTube. And if you're out here trying to look at your videos, try to find old ones, like you had mentioned, Bonnie, to find links, or to go out and delete a video, again, edit any videos, the video manager is an awesome view to go to, because it actually will give you access to all the other features on YouTube. So you'll notice over here on the left, the bar changed. So now it says Creator Studio, and this is where I think a lot of the fun stuff in YouTube's at in terms of things we can do. So again, you can see my video that I just uploaded up here about applying the retention rule to your inbox, and then you'll notice this drop down. So again, there's thousands of ways to do it one step. And you can go through, you can change the info and settings, so that's going to let us change the title, let us change the security, all the stuff that we added. Enhancements, so that lets you actually do some quick edits to it. Maybe add another video clip to the end of it. You can do all those things through there. Audio, again, it's going to let you either add new audio or edit the audio that's in there. So it's all done right through here. And all that stuff that's there is also down here under Create, and I'll show that in a second. What's also cool about this view is that it's treated like a list of documents almost, where you have, so if you're uploading 3 or 4 documents, or videos, so I checked 4 videos here, you can go up to Actions. And so you can delete them, you can change their privacy, you can go to More Actions, you can change your licenses, which we never have to worry about. All of our stuff is going to be basic, with the exception of things that have copyrighted music. For example, the PLA Advanced Care Plan in here. You'll see that includes copyrighted content. That's not a bad thing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. What that means, though, is that YouTube detects copyrighted content, which means now that video is opened up to monetization, to where they can use advertisements before and after that video. So when we use the Bruno Mars one, and if that's put on YouTube, that same thing will happen. It's not a bad thing. It just means it's opened up.
It doesn't show an ad. And
Yep.
the ones I've done, it shows an ad at the beginning. It's not too horrible.
Even though like the lyrics will be changed, so it's almost done like in a parody.
Exactly, because the background music will be the same. And I've done times where they don't detect it. 9 times out of 10 they will.
Okay.
But again, that's just if we decide this is the way we want to share that video with our broader group, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
So again, so I mentioned the playlist. So the playlists are listed separately in this view. A playlist, again, is just a group of videos. If you wanted to add videos to a playlist, you'll notice to add to. There's a drop down of all the playlists that we have, or create a new playlist. So if I go to create a new playlist and say example playlist. Now this is a super important step because a lot of people miss this step. Is the security of the playlist will determine generally the security of the video. So if you make a playlist of all unlisted videos and then make it a public playlist, the playlist will show up. Vice versa, if you make it an unlisted playlist and the videos are all public, the videos won't show up in that playlist format unless they're out there individually. So it can be confusing, and sometimes the best way to do it is to test it. And by testing it, I mean if you really don't want it to be a public playlist, open up a new Internet Explorer and just go to Google and type in your stuff and figure out if it's showing up or not. Generally, if it's they should match. That's the simplest approach. So if they're unlisted videos, make it an unlisted playlist. And so again, it means that playlist has to be shared directly with a link. Our leadership conference is a great example of an unlisted playlist. There's not necessarily anything out there. We don't put any of our super strategic information out there, but we put some of the speaker videos in there. So that's all an unlisted playlist that we use primarily to share with our leaders internally so they can watch all the videos in succession without worrying about a random video showing up in between the videos when they're watching them. And so I created an example playlist. Now I can go out to the playlists that are listed over here, and you can see all the playlists. So there's an example playlist there. It says it's empty, probably because it hasn't updated yet. It might take a second to add to it, but you can see the previous ones that we've done that's in there. So the BMS one, for example, has all the BMS videos in there. And when you click on it, it brings it up in that specific view.
Can you go back?
Yeah.
So the example playlist, this list is empty, you made it public.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can see that with the Earth symbol, right?
Yeah, yep.
And the other ones have links, so those are the private ones.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep. Exactly.
Sorry, just to make sure.
No, that's a good point. So the symbol is.
Unlisted videos with unlisted playlists. Is that what BMS was?
Yeah. So
Unlisted videos with unlisted playlists.
Yeah. So yeah, the BMS one's complete unlisted. So the BMS one again has that link. So the only way people can ever get that is via the link that we have out on the SharePoint site, or if it's sent, as well as all the videos. And you can always see a snapshot. So this one has a total of 1,700 views, and when it was last updated. And again, so 1,000 ways to do it. You can go and change the settings of the playlist all through here. And that basically lets you look at the basic. So what is the security of it, manual ordering, and then allow embedding. So that allows you to embed the playlist on a website. Probably nothing anybody else would ever do, but if you want this example of that, the BMS website, the playlist is embedded there. And so you can actually navigate the playlist through an entire site separately. But playlists we don't use playlists a lot, but they're something that are worth looking at and learning more about if you're interested in it.
What's that red bar? Is that number of views or what's it?
So that's the view, that's the status of how long whoever was logged into this channel watched it. Yeah. So you can see for that BBC Education, whoever logged in only watched it up to there, which isn't necessarily accurate because so many people use this.
Yeah.
So the BroSet assessment training module number 3,
Only had this one.
like people quit within the first year.
Only that one viewer though. So
last viewer.
Yeah, just the last viewer.
Okay.
What we'll talk about, and I want to make sure I have time to do it because I think it's one of the coolest things, is the analytics, because I will jump into that. But yeah, so that's just the last person that watched it, and not necessarily the overall data for the video itself. For that, go to analytics. But so before we jump to analytics, because then I get excited and carried away, and I'll probably run out of time. But the videos, I'm just being honest. The videos, so this view is a good view to get familiar with. So I want to one more time show everybody how to get here, because I think once you get here, you can pretty much do anything you need to do. So this is the default page you come to, and if not, my channel will always get you to this default page. To get to the video manager, the quickest way is right up top. So you see it has those stacked icons and then video manager. And so after you upload a video, you can go there. Or if you're just coming here to find a video you previously did, this is the best place to start, because what this will do is we'll list by newest first every single video on our channel. And you can search for them. So if I want to search for BMS, it'll say what is BMS. So it's looking for specifically what's in the title by default. But if you want to change that, it has the words BMS. Now, if I wanted to look for just title BMS, or if you wanted to find ones by dates, I mean, it's just like any other search thing. You can filter it down to searches.
31 views. 13 views. 1,000 like Katie's video.
That one's popular. But so you can search. So if you're looking for a video you did last year and you want to go and edit it or remove it, you can just search in there. So you can see there's a total of 217. And then at a glance, you can kind of see the views, whether or not the securities linked or unlisted or a public, etc. So just for especially for our group's purposes, this view is probably the most used view, and it's important to know how to get here. And then, so over on the left, this is the Creator Studio. There's tons of options, and I could literally spend probably an hour on each button, which would probably be exciting for nobody.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
One of the recommendations we do when we upload videos is for them to have the Center for Learning intro.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you can do within YouTube?
Yeah. Yep. So it's under the Create, and so I won't spend forever here because I want to get to that. But it's under the Create. You can merge. You can add it to the front and the beginning of the video.
And where can you find it?
It's in YouTube already. Yep.
Video?
Yep. And so for the analytics, again, like you can imagine, you can narrow it down to any single video you want. And so so these are the top ones. So if you look at this is the total for the channel. So from the date I created the channel, July 30th, 2014, to now, this is the lifetime of views in minutes, average view duration, and total views. And so this is across all videos. And then it will always show the top 10. So number of watch time, so how many minutes, alarm management, Foley insertion guide, dining, PPE. If Deb was here, she'd be cheering because most of those videos are ones that she was involved with. And what's that?
I said I have.
Yeah, and Bonnie, you have a couple of them on there. But you'll see they're kind of an overview. Now, most people are more curious about individual videos, so you can browse all videos and find it. You can go to playlists, so you can find a specific playlist and look at the data for that. So this is one I had created when I was looking up, I think, data for Melissa for the BMS. You can create groups. And by groups, I mean it basically is a way for you to analyze the data of a specific group of videos. So if you're responsible for a number of videos and they're not in a single playlist, you can just create a group, go through, find all your videos, and add them. And so if I click on the BMS group, it will load it, and it will look at the
4
date.
minutes average time?
Yep, so the average time is 4 minutes. And then it will show all the videos in that group along with their views and how many minutes watched. And then if there's any other comments, so again, comments isn't necessarily something we do track. All of them require approval, so we're not big users of the comments. But anything related to these videos can be done here. And you can do it to even specific videos. So let's go to a specific video, and we'll go to alarm management. And so again, we're looking at the data specifically to that, and there's stuff in here that may never be relevant to what you need in terms of the watch time, view duration, shares, the number of views, and you can see that it's skyrocketed, and it's just been very, very minimal since then. So again, some of these videos that were created for one need and weren't necessarily ever shared again or used again, that's what they'll look like. And so that's the overview of each video. Now, of course, you can jump down even more and go all the way down to watch time. So if you want to see, I'm going to click on watch time. So this is something they call basically audience retention by looking at the video. So you can actually go and look at the video in real time and get to see, all right, everybody's watching it. Everybody's watching it. All right, we're losing people. And so if you get to a point where, let's say, it switches from real videos to slides, and people start watching it. Now, again, a lot of this isn't as relative to us because we have such a small sample to work from that a lot of these data features don't necessarily feed well, but alarm management's a good one because a lot of people have watched it. So once we start using these videos more, and the BMS is a great example of looking at that and how employees are using that, we can start looking at some of these audience retention things to see if people really drop off at a certain point, or if people, or if there's a point where people come back and play. So again, per IP address, if I exit this video, come back later, that's where you get things like this bump. for whatever reason. So it's saying at some point people came back, and that people came back after they stopped there and came back. And you can narrow it down to even further than this. And again, there's the levels of complexity to the way they track the data that might not necessarily be relevant to us because we don't make money from this. And people that do this for a living, all these things mean a lot to them.
I bet.
And again, you can go down and look at playback devices. So again, not super relevant to us, but if you want to know like whether people are accessing on their phones or on their browser, that is relevant, right? So if we want to know a video is being played on phones, that's super important. Let's see. Any questions about the analytics before I jump over down to the editing? So I do want to have time for that. Or any other curiosities? It's like a really fancy bike, right? I mean, it's something you have to go out and use a few times, but once you do, it's super useful. Especially if you spend 3-4 months working with somebody on a video and put all these hours and effort into it, and then with this idea that it's going to be shared and used broadly and used over and over again, you can follow that up. And if you follow it up and realize it wasn't shared, it wasn't used broadly, and you felt like it was shared appropriately, when that person or team comes back again a year later wants to do another one, you can go back and say, well, here's the data from last year, and nobody watches this video. For whatever reason, right? So for whatever reason that is, that's an issue. And so if the idea is that people are using it, they want people to access it on a regular basis, BMS, again, is a great example because that's the first time we've done something like that. That's used consistently over and over and again, and it's being watched.
Yeah.
Not for the full length of all the videos. Katie only lasts about 6 or 7 minutes. People leave even her video. But we now can see the data for that.
We present our videos during class.
Yeah,
So they have to see the entire.
That's
thing.
true.
So the average is
Captive
high.
audience.
Yeah.
But it is a neat feature too, though. So if you see somebody dropping off real quick, a lot of people,
Yeah.
it can help you.
See why that is,
Yeah, and then maybe add it to make it better and get more people watching.
Yeah, and it's worth looking at that, especially for those moments where there's a clear distinction between, all right, so up until this point in the video, there was all this fun stuff happening, there was music, and then we started showing them pictures,
Yeah.
right? Or just talking.
No, sorry.
And so that's a worthwhile tool to look at. And again, anybody with this login information can get in here and play. This is not, you can't break anything. The problem is, you can't break anything. I'm almost positive you can't break anything. If you do, I'll be impressed and we'll fix it. But so again, getting in here and playing is a good idea. That is a challenge. But for the last few minutes, I think the create piece is cool because a lot of people struggle with finding songs for videos if they want background music. YouTube has a massive, and I mean massive, free library of music. So if you go to the Create Audio Library, you can notice as I scroll down, more load up. So I can go on forever. Of course, you can also just search. So if you want to find mood, I want it to be sad.
Aww.
Sorry. I'll get out of there. I want to be bright. And I want the instrument to be a piano. And my video that I need it for is about 5 minutes long. Oh, no matches there. What about 1 minute long? There we go. And then you can go.
Right for 5 minutes.
Right? So if you ever heard some of that stock music on really catchy videos, this is their secret. They just take it from YouTube. And then under each one, you'll see that there's different options. So some of them say use whatever you want, it doesn't matter. And then some of them say if you're going to use this in your videos, put this Creative Commons attribution license, which is easy. And you can add that in there. And you can download it to your computer. And so if you want to add it via a separate editing program, you can just download it, save it to your computer, and add it yourself. So again, there's tons of them here. And there's the same thing with sound effects. So if you want to, hammer bop somebody in the head noise, like boing, or whatever it is people do, and some of those funny videos, or sports cars speeding, dancing, the Charleston. I have to play that now, because I don't know what that is. Tap dancing, right? Yeah. Anybody?
Charleston's local street across the east.
Wow. There you go.
Hey, we knew this.
Yeah.
I did not know that. But so you see there's a lot of options here to add these to your videos. And you can add these after the fact too. The next step is the video editor. And so again, I mentioned this is very basic. And actually the only way I would ever recommend this is if you have 3 or 4 videos, smaller size videos that you want to merge together and don't want to do it in a separate program, you can do it all on YouTube. And you can come out here, and so you'll notice this is empty right now. I could take this bedside procedure, drag it down, and drop it here. And then you can, where is my option to add more? There we go. And so I click back, when you click back down here, it gives you the option to add more videos. So then I can add this assessment one to it. And then you can go through and trim them down if you want them to be shorter. So you can break them, make the length of them much shorter, add gaps in between them, add pictures. So if I want to come in and say add a picture, you can add photos to it. All these really minor editing things you can do here. For the intro, which you had mentioned, Eduardo, thank you. Let me get, actually I think it might be in here. So if we want to add the BCFL introduction to the beginning of this video, I can do that. And so then at the start of the video, it will play the intro. And now you can, don't copy it, that would be a bad idea. So then you can get it again and add it to the end.
Heck yeah.
Should be able to get it to the end. There you go.
Legitimize
And so yeah, so it does. It adds that intro and outro feature. But yeah, so that's a perfect example of actually how to use this editor. Now the key is when you go up here to make sure you change the name of your project and create video. This can take a while, especially if you're merging videos together. So time-consuming wise, again,
Don't do big videos.
don't do big videos is key, and don't start 20 minutes before you have to leave for work or leave work.
Yeah.
And if you do leave your computer on, let it work in the background. Because after a while, the computer stops working and Google does the rest of the work. But yeah, and so the last two pieces, the analytics, thank you, Eduardo, and the video editor are areas that we encourage you to get in and play. We mean that word play because you can't break it, and it's fun to see some of the cool things you can do. And a lot of times you can save a lot of energy by using some of the stuff built in here and answer a lot of the questions you have. What questions? And we'll right up into the end of the time. I know there's a ton of information. This, along with all the resources that we had from past instructions that we've done similar to this, will be out on our ETM site, and I'll send a link to that when we send out the follow-up email from this, so people can watch this and review it. And then you can look at some of the other stuff we have out there in the past. And I think we have things about more detailed on editing, so if you really want to use the editor in more detail. The analytics, I took 2 or 3 Google classes a couple years ago on Google Analytics, and I have all those materials if you're really, really, really interested in it. And it's okay if you're not, and I won't feel judged if you're not. But I have a lot of information on Google Analytics if you really want to dig deeper into your videos. Yeah. All right. And so
Trey, thank you so much.
you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I can show you the closing of Adobe. So again, we're done.